Welcome to Gaga Knits. My name's Anita and I live in South Wales in the UK. I hope you've had a nice couple of weeks. I have been back in work full time for 2 whole weeks now, and although it's been quite hectic the last 2 weeks, I have got some crafting done, so I will have something to show you. I've been working part-time for 5 years since Harry was born, so it's a little bit of a shock. But the first weekend we went camping. I went with Matthew and Jodie and Harry and Matthew's family. And then the second weekend we had family down to visit. And this weekend we've just been caravanning in Pembrokeshire and it's beautiful there. And we've got a little 2-berth caravan. We've had it for a couple of years now and we've toured around a little bit with it. This year we've decided to actually keep it at a site, and the lady there puts it out on a pitch whenever we want to visit and puts it away again. So that was nice because then you get to go and stay for weekends. So there's a bit of a palaver towing a caravan somewhere just for the weekend. So this worked out really well. And this was our first weekend there. And at the end of this vlog, I'm going to put a little tour of the inside of our caravan to show you. And Walkies with Charlie will be with Barafundle Bay. We've had beautiful weather for the last 3 weeks, and the weekend we went away, it rained. It's raining now and it's quite dark, and I'm hoping the quality of this video will be okay, as I haven't been able to use my webcam that I usually use because the picture isn't clear enough, so I'm just using my laptop, so I hope it works out okay. Anyway, let's get on with knitting. As people who have watched the podcast before know, my daughter is expecting, and so are lots of other people I know at the moment. So I have started making little things, and the first thing I've been making are these baby socks. And the pattern is by Kate Atherley. And I think it's free on Ravelry, or there's a link on Ravelry to this pattern. And I've made 2 pairs, and these are the first. Sorry, they were the second. These were the first. And we don't know whether Jodie's having a boy or a girl yet. She is hoping to find out. And then I can crack on with more boyish outfits or girlish outfits. So I have a pair of each so far, but as I say, there is a lot of other people that I know, other young ladies expecting, so whatever Jodie doesn't want, they shall be getting. It's blowing out a little bit. I've got lights on everywhere to hoping that it'll make the picture quality better. Now, because I was knitting those socks, and when I make normal size socks, I use these sock blockers to show them off to you on. I asked Martin, my partner, he's got a very big shed full of tools and he's always buying tools and different things and equipment, and I asked him would he be able to make me some little baby sock blockers to show my little socks off on. And I won't say I've nagged, but I have reminded him on several occasions that he's promised he'll do this for me. I showed him these as an example, and he said he wouldn't use metal, but he'd have a go at making wooden ones. So I showed him some nice ones on Etsy, the ones with the little bunny ears, and I said I'd like them really pretty because they're for a baby. And this is what he came up with. What can I say? Needless to say, I didn't put the socks in the sock blockers. I haven't had a look to see if you can actually get baby sock blockers. I think I'll probably just make them out of a thick card or something like that. But, I don't know what to say. I usually try and think of something positive, but I can't think of anything. Other than, I suppose he had a go. So they're my finished objects, and I have a work in progress. I'm still working on my Loves Promise cardigan by Amanita, and the yarn is from Ellie at CraftHouseMagic. Here comes the rain again, and boy, did it come back. And I'm loving this pattern. I took it away in the caravan with us, and I was hoping to finish it, but I finished the sleeves, and the sleeves have a really nice little feature. It's a bit hard to show on the screen, especially now the light is so poor, but I was hoping to finish it anyway to show you. And I have to pick up the stitches round the band to make the band, so it's quite long because it's all the way around there and the back and down the other side, and my needle was that long, so there was no way I could pick up all the stitches on there. So I have ordered another one from Amazon with a much longer cable, a 100 centimetre cable, and it's a 3.5 millimetre needle. And I've ordered a Knit Pro Symphony because this is Knit Pro Zing, and I've said this before, but I find that the stitches catch on there, especially with the finer yarns, which is a bit annoying, and the Symphonies, they don't. I might as well have a new set. So that's my work in progress. So definitely will be finished for my next podcast. And that's all my knitting. Moving on to crochet. Now, there's going to be quite a lot of baby patterns, knitting and crochet for the next few months, I'm afraid, because I can't help myself. They're so cute and there's so many patterns to choose from. But I'm starting off slowly. I'm just waiting for Jodie to let me know if it's going to be a boy or a girl. So I'm trying not to get too carried away. And I have this pattern here. It's a little crochet hat, baby hat, shaped like a bunny. Jodie sent me a link to something similar. And this is a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's by jteasycrochet.etsy.com. But I think I found it through Ravelry, and there's a link to her webpage, and you can print that off for free. And the first one I made was this one, and I just made it with some yarn I had left over. And you're meant to use chunky yarn. I think this was Aran, and you were meant to use chunky. And then I bought some Marriner Chunky in a grey and pink. Ooh, I'm not sure how well that's showing up. And the shades are 46 and 28, but unfortunately I can't remember which way round it is. So one of them's grey and one of them's pink. When I do the show notes underneath, I'll put the right ones there if you're interested. So I did a little grey one like that, and then you're supposed to put pink inside the ears. So I've nearly finished. I've done the ears, but I haven't put them on. The only thing about them is they're quite cute, but I don't like that you can see the pink on the back. But if other people don't mind that, I shall ask Jodie if she minds that. I quite like them all the solid colour. I think I prefer those. So I'm looking forward to see some little babies in those. I'm just going to drop everything on the floor and clear up later. Right, I've gone wrong already, because at the end of my knitting section, I should have done my giveaway. If you remember in my last vlog, sorry about that, I was home alone and Josh has just come home. So I've told him he has to be quiet if he's going to stay in. So anyway, last episode, I did a little mini vlog about the Spanglish Socks by Jenny at Owl About Yarn. And I was very lucky to be a test knitter for her for this pattern, and I made a pair of socks for my son-in-law Matthew, and I made them out of Owl About yarn, in Sherlocked, and they were very nice and they fit him beautifully, and I shall insert a picture here where he's modelling them on our camping trip, and he was hoping that I would finish them for that, but then it was a little bit too warm, so but they fit him nicely and they fit nicely in his walking boots, so that's good. So anyway, Jenny at Owl About Yarn very kindly offered a copy of her pattern free to one of you to win, and so I did a little giveaway, a little competition where we were due to be going camping. So I asked you, what is your ideal holiday? Camping, caravanning, abroad, what do you like to do? And I put all my answers, I printed them off and put them in here because I know you can do that random number generator, but I like doing this. Right, so the winner is, I'm going to have to turn the light on because I printed it off and it's so very small, Gaz Butterworth. And she says, my favourite type of holiday these days is a float on the canal, escaping to the countryside on a narrowboat. So congratulations, Gez. If you could let me know your Ravelry name, and I will give Jenny at Owl About Yarn that information, and she should send over the Spanglish Socks pattern to you. So well done. And it's a lovely knit, so that would be nice for you. And on to sewing. I'm stopping and starting a little bit this time because I find sometimes my voice isn't in sync, and it's better if I stop and start the video because then I might only go out of sync a little bit and then I can correct it. I am working on it, but I don't know why it does it, but sometimes it does. So anyway, we're on to sewing, and my lovely model here, Doris, is modelling the dress I am making for Jodie. It's the Burda 6956, and it's maternity wear. You can make a dress, a tunic, or a maxi dress, and Jodie wanted the normal dress length, the medium dress length. Just turn it back here. And I've nearly finished. The only thing left I have to do is sew this band on the top and the bottom to make it a bit tighter, because you have this nice pleat here for expanding tummies, and sew the hemline, because I took the dress when I got this far up to Jodie so she could try it on. She's a little bit on the short side and I wanted it to be the right length because I don't want it, if it's too long it can look a bit if it's too long it can look a bit frumpy. So I'm trying to get the glare out of my glasses. I haven't been wearing glasses long, and the next time I go to the optician I'm going to ask if I can have some anti-glare ones so that I'm not reflecting. So this pattern, it says it's an easy pattern, and it is relatively easy. I did a slight change. The dress, Jodie wanted the sleeves on this dress, but I said I thought a flutter sleeve would be more flattering, so I did my first pattern hack and I've made her a little flutter sleeve, which looks much nicer, I think, on there. And I used this book, So Many Dresses, So Little Time, by Tanya Wellen, and in there's all different tips on all sorts of things, and she shows you how to convert your sleeve, and it was very simple, but I couldn't have done it without her book, so I converted the sleeve. The trouble I had, I put it in here, was on the neckline. Back, Doris, she's a bit shy. Was on the neckline, so it tells you to iron on your interfacing, and you have little sort of piece of fabric here that you have to sew into the neckline at the bottom of the V to reinforce it. I understand that, but then I did that bit, so that was all right. Then it tells you to fold in your neckline twice to have that neat line. But where's that piece of fabric gone? They don't show it on there, so I thought, well, I can't fold the fabric over twice here with this piece of fabric here because it would be really bulky. So, and it didn't tell you what to do. And I did have a look to see if there was any YouTube videos where tutorials, or if anyone had left any notes or tips on what to do. So I was a bit stumped because I couldn't find any. So I just trimmed it back to the neckline, to the rest of the hem, and sewed it under. And it's come out all right, but I don't know if that's what I was supposed to do. But I didn't know what else to do, so I left it at that. So anyway, Jodie's tried it on and it fits and she likes it. So I've just got to hem it and I can take it to her then. And on to cross stitch. I've been doing a little bit of cross stitch since I saw you last. And I have mentioned in one of my other videos that I'm trying not to buy anything else until I've used more things that I've got in this craft room, because I'm just piling on more and more things. And I've got plenty of projects here that I can do. And I've got lots of material, lots of yarn, and lots of projects, things that I bought in kits and things like that, that I've just forgotten about. And when I was rummaging around looking for something else the other day, I came across this half-finished cross stitch, not by me. My daughter had started it, Jodie had started it, and donated it to me to finish. And it is, where's the little picture? Oh, so it's just a tiny little Christmas cross stitch of an elf surrounded by presents. And I've got that far. And it's quite enjoyable to do. I took it away in the caravan as well, and it's great in the caravan because you get lots of light because you've got windows on 3 sides, so it's really good caravan, a really good caravan craft. So I'm going to take cross stitch with me every time, and so I'm cracking on with that. And the beauty of that, because it's for Christmas, I'm going to enter it into Ellie from CraftHouseMagic's Christmas Craft Along. It's a craft along running all year, and you don't have to have finished Christmas objects. It's just, the idea is just to get a heads up or a hands up, head start on your Christmas making. And you can just enter the Ravelry group and just say what you're planning to make, or progress you're making, or finished objects, and every month she will draw for prizes. Well, usually I make things, and if I'm making them for other people, I give them away straight away. Plus I show them on here, and usually I'm making them for either Jodie, Matthew, Harry, family, and they watch and they see, so I give them away. But this, because it's so Christmassy, I'm going to keep for Christmas, and I'm going to put it in his little frame, and I'm going to give it to Harry, and he can put it in his bedroom for Christmas because he loves the Christmas elf, and they do an important job helping Father Christmas, so he can put him in his room. Right, all that's left is Walkies with Charlie. And as I say, we've been to Pembrokeshire this weekend in a place called Burda, and it's really pretty there. It's lots of countryside, and you're quite near the beaches, a bit like here, except here we get a lot of rubbish dropped around the lanes, and just all the pretty places there's rubbish being dropped, and there isn't. So it really was noticeable, the difference, that they didn't have any rubbish around, and the beaches and the fields and the countryside was beautiful. So one of the walks we went on, it did rain most of the time we were there, but Saturday afternoon it brightened up, so we took a drive out to Barafundle Bay in it's all Pembrokeshire, and you park in a little car park and you have to walk across the cliff to get to the bay, and there's walks all from different directions to this little beach, but you can't get there by car, you have to walk. There's some steep steps and then a walk, but we took Charlie, and it's a beach that dogs are allowed on all summer, I believe, so that's good. And we took her for a little walk there. So I'll put some pictures of that in at the end. So first of all, you'll have a little tour of our caravan, and then some pictures of Charlie and our walk at Barafundle Bay. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to seeing you all soon in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.